Morning, guys. It's Tuesday, November 2nd. Some interesting news hit yesterday. Bloomberg is dropping 7,000 homes that it purchased in the last quarter. So they purchased 8,000. They're going to dump 7,000. So what does that mean to us, right? It means potentially. Now, I can't say that, I know they're trying to put this together to sell in packages, but there's insiders claiming through a Bloomberg article, do a search for that, Bloomberg Zillow selling 7,000 houses. Search that in a Google search, pull up that article that talk about the $2.8 billion they're seeking for these houses. And what it really boils down to is they're doing this flipping process, buying these properties, finding the enormous amount of rehab that's needed, basically, and then trying to hold that with the crunch we have in labor, the crunch we have in supplies. They have to do something with it. So that's going to hit the market. How it hits the market, I don't know. All I know is what I saw that came over the last 24 hours. So that means for you as the real estate investor, the individual investor, there's a chance some of this could make its way towards you. This may be in your sights. What do you do with this? Get pre-qualified. Seriously, guys. It's amazing how many people I'm still talking to. It's like, I don't want to fill out an application until I find a house. Don't do that. Be ready, because that person who's delaying, that person who's holding off, saying, I don't want to have my credit pulled. Guys, it's like 4 points that affects your credit, for crap's sake. Our credit reports are good for 120 days. Go for it. Get yourself ready. Get all the pieces in place. So when you find a house, you're the one with the offer that's backed up with a solid pre-qual letter from a solid lender that can have a conversation with that seller side and say, guys, when they call me, I don't give them any financial information. I just tell them we're stingy as hell about our pre-qual letters. We make our clients go through a lot of steps up front, so that way that time isn't wasted the third week of the deal and stretches out too long. We get a lot of people accepting offers because of the hoops you go through to get a pre-qual with us. So when you call up, it's the first time, and I tell you all the hell we're going to put you through on a pre-qual. Guess what? That's hell for us too. We don't like it any more than you do, but we know when you make an offer, you absolutely have to be in a position of strength at that point. If you don't have cash to put into the deal, if you're not going to buy it 100% cash, you need to be in a strong position. So when I offer to the marketplace that I have, people getting a pre-qual from me have to have filled out the application, had their credit pulled, reviewed their taxes for the last 2 years, W-2s, pay stubs, bank statements, 1099s, K-1s, you name it, corporate bank statements, everything in advance of that pre-qual going out. People are a lot more apt to accept that offer instead of somebody that calls the lender and says, yeah, we looked at the credit and ran a desktop underwriter. Okay, anybody can do that. That's nothing special. We go through a lot of energy. In fact, the hours that we invest probably cost me about $200, $250 every time I release one of those pre-qual letters that I don't charge you. That's because that way my team has a better deal coming in. It's extremely high quality control on the front end. Now, if people don't want to play ball with us on the pre-qual side of it, guys, you're putting yourself at risk. Allow us to do what we do to ensure that you're in a much better shape. So interesting other data that's out there. We've got the Fed saying that they're going to be starting to do that tapering later on. They're currently buying $120 billion between securities, mortgage-backed securities and treasuries. So 40 billion in mortgage-backed securities, about 80 billion in treasuries. They're going to start tapering back. There's anticipation from what we're going out about there, at least what's coming out there, that's saying that it might look like 15 billion taper, so cutting back that little bit. We'll see. Hard to say what that's going to be like. Right now they're buying somewhere right around $540 billion at the moment is what's going on. And they're going to be reinvesting the gains from the MBSs, right? So when people make their payment, they buy the mortgage-backed security, they make their payments come in. And when they get those funds, they reinvest it back into more mortgage-backed securities. So that could be doubling that investment respectively. So the only thing that we have to worry about for any of this, as far as I'm concerned, is inflation. As the government continues to label inflation at its current level, that's much higher than what anybody's getting in the form of a return on their mortgage-backed securities investment. They're saying it's 5.4%. Now, they're taking out really, really key metrics. They're not factoring in, one of them being rents. Now, we're seeing in some markets, rents are increasing 16 to 20% year over year. So, it's one of these situations where that right there is giving them a somewhat low reading. So we're going to still have money going into mortgage-backed securities, which me personally, I'm not understanding why, but that's what they're doing. Because we got the Fed putting in, you got other institutions, you got other people across the planet putting money into mortgage-backed securities, keeping those rates low. So that being the situation and what their plan is for the future, I don't know that we're going to see a massive amount of movement, but no, it's going up. And when you call me up saying, hey, is it possible to get this rate? I'll give you the lowest margin rate I can to continue to stay profitable, not go in the red. But I've done it for everybody. I'm not cutting anything special for any special individual. I love y'all. I appreciate the trust, but I'm cutting it all for everybody. The lowest I can make it work for everybody. We monitor that. We look at that. We see what we can make happen. Anything less, can't pull off, right? So just know the best I can offer is what I'm going to offer you. Now, we're going to also, if you got a long escrow, we're not going to tell you, the absolute greatest option out there, because we don't know how long the escrow is going to be. We don't know what the market's going to be. We're going to be a little bit more cautious with the approach in discussing rates with you, because we don't know where it's going. Pray that it gets better and give you a pleasant surprise. So outside of that, guys, I would say your goal right now, your focus right now is be prepared for potential inventory to hit. Two things that are good about this: inventory coming, hopefully making its way to you. And the two, one of the biggest buyers of houses right now may not be buying in the next couple of quarters because of this, right? This may not hurt. This may help inventories coming up. So be prepared and know what your baselines are. Get your pre-qual letter in place. Be ready to go out there when the deal comes along to jump on that deal, move forward, build your portfolio while the big guys are backing off. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you on Friday.